What's going on? You're live with the managers. I'm joined as always with the maker of the chaos, and we're going to get into the trending players on your waiver wire this week. Some players that you could look out for, some players that you could possibly snatch up for free and add to your bench. Definitely want to look out for these players that maybe not everybody's got in their roster, and you could pick up some diamonds here. So I'm going to go with the fantasy football brain, the mind himself that is the maker, and start off with, I guess, everybody's most trending flavor of the week, and that is Trey Tucker of the Las Vegas Raiders. Obviously, his target share has been a large part of this offensive force, and with an outstanding 48 points in our fantasy league, he is become the biggest target for waiver wires this week.
Definitely, he's definitely one to eye, and people are going to be spending big bucks. I would say I think he's not the biggest target you should be going for, but I do think he is one that will be a solid lineup on your team. So if you're willing to spend the fab, he's going to be a decent pickup.
And there you have it. Or you could wait till he has a bad week and trade for him there. People get emotional with players on bad weeks. Trust me.
Yeah, don't expect the 48 like such a high scoring game again from him.
Yes, and what are your thoughts on the next one on the list, Chris Rodriguez?
I think with the amount of volume he was getting, he's definitely one to keep an eye out. I would stash him on the bench, see how they play him this week. If you wanted to spend, maybe 10 fab on him, if you're really in need for that backup running back. But he is a sit and watch, see how the Commanders play him, and then go from there is what I would do.
Part of almost 48% of snaps, and I'd like to see 11 attempts for 40 yards. It's not the biggest showing, but this is definitely somebody you want to keep on your bench and see how this evolves. Definitely one to wait and see, and it's somebody who may not necessarily get picked up on the waiver. So if you're looking for players to stash away before this Sunday, you have some injuries on your IR, keep your eye out for this one. Now, who is your next pick?
I wanted to point out Sterling Shepard. If you're in a really tough spot this week or next week, actually maybe not this week, but in the next few weeks, because if you've been following, what's his face? Mike Evans is currently out for the next couple weeks, so Sterling Shepard is going to be getting some targets, and that's going to be good for those people who need maybe a nice flex spot in the next couple weeks. I would expect Sterling Shepard to get some plays, and you could probably get him pretty cheap too, because he's not a long-term solution. He's more of a short-term.
And we know that Baker Mayfield is one to throw the ball many, many times in a game. So you can expect wide receivers to get targets. He's a quarterback that gets the ball out there. But how do you see him performing against the Eagles next week? And then we got the Seahawks and the 49ers and then Detroit. So 4 weeks of tough defenses, in my opinion, coming up for Sterling Shepard. Yeah, it flex if you're in a bad spot, but wait and see.
Yeah. I would say he's a good flex. Well, to me, he's going to be the wide receiver too behind Egbuka this upcoming week, which means to me, yeah, it's a flex. Just don't expect the highest points from him, but I expect him to get a decent amount of targets this week.
Oh, well, we have 27 minutes ago update because fantasy football and football is always fluid. Chris Godwin ankle was a full participant during Wednesday's practice.
Yeah.
So he may be an interesting one, and looks like he's slotted in for wide receiver too. With Sterling Shepard there, so they may share the role. Snap percentage may be divided there. And Ryan Miller is also a candidate. It looks like he's there for about a quarter of the snaps, but very low targets. So, yeah, Sterling Shepard is definitely the best option that is not rostered. Currently in 11% of leagues, and 2% of people have started him. So, definitely one to keep your eye on. And like you said, next game there's some the right atmosphere with Mike or Evans gone off the
Yeah.
force.
Yeah, with Godwin potentially coming back, I have to say we should kind of see. I'm wondering if they're going to ease him on this next game. Um, but yeah, for how cheap you can probably get him, I think he'd be a decent pickup.
Now, who did you want to take a look at next? Something that people may want to keep in some deep sleepers in their fantasy league.
um, Torrey Horton. I wanted to bring up with the Seahawks. He has gotten a touchdown the past 2 weeks. He's at a 40% snap percentage the week two and 49% snap percentage this past week against the Saints. Um, 4 targets each game for 32 yards each. But as of before, he got a touchdown each of those games, which is great to see. He's a rookie. They're going to ease him in, get more playtime with him, and I see him doing well and becoming a really good flex spot.
Now you gotta love the Horton name if you're a Canadian. Yes, a Canadian here, talking about NFL, but T Horton. If you're a Canadian, I'm sure you're drawn to that. Maybe stash him, see where it goes. Obviously, Sam Darnold has been known for tossing the ball. But obviously, JSN is going to scoop up a lot of those targets. So
Oh yeah,
Cooper Cup is also there, receiving some volume. But yeah, Troy Horton may be getting into the mix. They want to introduce a rookie, get him more accustomed to the game, so could see him receiving a little bit more volume. But that touchdown is very attractive because it seems like they may be using a certain play where he's going to get open and in the touchdown red zone area. So
yeah.
yeah, that's a
I
good
I
shout.
also Yeah. Speaking of other rookies, Woody Marks, I see not a lot of people are grabbing him either. With only like 31 people have him, 31% people have him rostered. He's another one to stash, put on your bench and see. Um,
Yeah, is he even
then
on the trending list? I don't even see him on here, which is
no,
crazy.
no, no, yeah, he's not. And I just
Woody.
wanted to bring him up because yeah, it's rookies have a lot of potential and explosiveness. So yeah, keep an eye on him.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Definitely one to keep your eye out because he is one man back from the Chubb, and who knows with this defense which way they'll be, or the offense which way they'll be running. You never know. Any game, a given chance, the next man could step up. But yeah, keep your eye out on Woody Marks. Definitely a good shout out there, and a rookie that they'll be wanting to bring more and more into the mix. Big guy, 5'10, 210 pounds. So, yeah, only 31% rostered, only 3% started. So, keep an eye out if he's in your league and available.
Yeah.
All right,
Um,
some deep sleepers.
there is another one that I did want to mention that might be one to keep an eye out. Maybe not grab just yet. Um, but depending on his usage on this next coming week, he might be one. I mean, if you want to be preemptive, you could probably grab him if you have a spot. on your bench. I know Trey Benson will be taking a lot of the work with James Conner out, but the Amari DiMercado, he's going to be the backup running back to Trey Benson. Uh, he might be one to watch because they might get split load of running backs or of the attempts, rushing.
Yeah,
So
exactly. They may
yeah,
because they did a lot of that same usage with Trey Benson and James Conner, right? So you can assume
yeah,
that maybe they'll move Benson up to the Conner role, and then DeMarcado could pick up the work that Benson was previously doing. So
exactly.
it's a good way to draw the lines. Arizona's coming up against the Seahawks, Tennessee, Indianapolis, and then Green Bay. So a lot of tough defenses. They may pick up some points on Tennessee, but it's gonna be a tough road ahead for DeMarcado.
Definitely, I agree.
Okay, first of all, this guy's name is Bam Knight. This guy should be starting running back with a $3 million contract right off the bat, but he will not suit up. Bam Knight is an awesome name. I hope they bring him into the mix. But yeah, good shout out on DeMarcado. You definitely put him on my radar, although I do have him watched. Let's see, Maker's seeing all my stars here. Yeah,
it's good
good
to
eye, good eye.
it's good to keep an eye on all of them. I know I'm going to be watching and seeing how it progresses, but it can go all sorts of different ways.
Any other running backs you got your eye on? Any defenses you're suggesting for the week, or how are
Oh,
you?
yeah. Defenses. So, I mean, one I feel like is a good one. The Chargers have been on a roll, and they're up against the Giants. With Jackson Dart, it's a little bit uncertain on how well they'll do. So, I think that one could be a decent pickup. Uh,
My big
let's
shout out
see.
is the New England Patriots. Rostered in about 34% of leagues. If it's not a super
Hmm.
deep league, you may be able to pick them up. They are hosting, so they're going to be at home against the Carolina Panthers. Now, I know the Carolina Panthers are coming off of a huge win against the Atlanta Falcons, but I honestly don't think they can pull the same stuff on Drake May. I think Drake May is a higher caliber quarterback, and I think New England at home will be a strong defense against Carolina. So that would be my number one pickup on the roster for this week.
I would 100% agree that for one that's not picked a lot or not grabbed, uh, definitely. Um, I know Commanders might be a shout. The Falcons looked like a mess last week, and if the repeat happens, the Commanders could potentially score a lot of points. They did really well against the Raiders and the Giants, so yeah, uh, they're another one.
Yep, good shout. Good shout. The Commanders could do it again, and the Falcons have never looked worse. So strike while the iron's hot, right?
Yeah.
My question to you, have you heard of Hassan Haskins? Are you going around checking out all the backups to now these new running backs who are becoming first one, because that DeMarcado was a good shout. There's a
Yeah.
coaching system that does put a script out there that's going to see more work. So do you go around now? You see Hassan now trending. Are you going to start jumping at every second running back, or how do you feel about this?
So for me, this one, uh, with Najee going out, Omarion almost immediately jumped into that role. So the fact that Hassan, I mean, he only got 8% of the snaps, didn't get any attempts while he was in. I just I just don't see him being that guy, at least not right now. Um, but that could change. He's one to watch, but I wouldn't be picking him up on the waiver wire as like a not to grab on my bench just yet. After this next game, maybe.
All right, next one I'm going to throw at you is Xavier Scott from the Vikings. Obviously, this kid didn't really come in with an NFL professional career, but then you see him as a backup, and he's putting up almost 10 points for fantasy. He only saw 28% of snaps, but with 8 attempts, he was able to get 30 yards, and then he was able to catch for 30 yards. So a double threat. And with Aaron Jones gone, and they seem to have signed Cam Akers, but then
Akers,
just
yeah.
sort of got rid of him. So do you think Xavier Scott is somebody to grab and hang on to?
I mean, based on the previous game against the Bengals, I think he could have some usage. But like the Omarion situation, I just think Jordan Mason is the guy this this year. Um, he was already projected to be a strong contender, and I think he's going to keep doing that. Xavier Scott, maybe not as much. They might have him do more of like the uh, brunt work, and he might be a good flex spot for sure. Um, if you're in a little bit of a tight spot. So yeah, he's one to put on your bench and maybe watch.
And shout out to the good hair. I like his hair. All right. Well, anyone else that you'd like me to highlight on the list here that people should be looking out for?
Oh, from the trending list, um, I think Gadsden, the Chargers tight end, he did well against the Broncos for only being in 26% of snaps, still 7 targets in that time period. He's another one to watch out for on the tight end spot because he might be a new go-to for Herbert. Um, and he's only rostered in 4% of leagues. So yeah, he is a shout.
Yeah, absolutely. Another rookie again. So you hope that it's not just experimental, but with 7 targets, 5 receptions, 46 yards. Very promising showing. And you hope that they'll start bringing him more and more into the mix. One question I have for you on Luther Burden. Obviously, this is another shiny star on people's radar, only rostered in 32%, so chances are that he's available if you go out and look for him. Do you think he does this again? With 108 yards and a touchdown with only he's 100%, so 3 targets, 3 receptions, but he was only out there for 30% of snaps.
I think it's going to be tough to recommend getting him because one, they were up against the Cowboys, which their defense has been looking pretty awful lately. And they already have really good targets with DJ Moore and Odunze. So they're I'd see him in the easier matchups. Luther Burden could be doing well in those matchups. It's just hard to recommend him because he had 27% of snaps against the Vikings the first week with only 1 reception for -3 yards. And that's why I would caution. Like he might be a decent matchup for these weaker teams, maybe against the Saints in week 7, right? Or the Bengals in week 9. But to me, he's like a spot flex that I'd have every once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't get fooled by the flavors of the week. You want to see their stats. You want to see that snap percentage healthy, and you want to see it trending up. I think these are good indicators. Obviously, a good indicator, which he has, is 100 for 100% on catching, 3 targets, 3 receptions. Feel like that's a great indicator to give him more work on the next run, but it's still not enough to me to say, bring him to a flex, but with injuries and the fact that he's got a great quarterback behind him, he's definitely one to watch out for. And what's going on with DJ Moore? They're not throwing it to him all too much. They're giving it all to Adunze.
Yeah, it's seeming like he's acting as like the wide receiver 1 for the team. He's been getting a lot of the target share, which, I mean, I'm not complaining. I have him on my league, but it just seems like he's getting open more than it could be that the defense are targeting DJ more prominently, which means it's more open for Adunze. But I think it's one to watch just as a consistent method, like 9 targets, 11 targets, 7 targets with Odunze, whereas DJ Moore was 5, 6, and 5 for the first 3 weeks. The fact that Odunze is getting those targets is more of a testament as to he's getting more open than DJ Moore and able to take those catches.
It's crazy because right now you wouldn't trade DJ Moore for Rome Odunze, right?
No,
but
probably not.
The area the rank he was drafted at, DJ Moore was definitely drafted above Odunze.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's a good pick. I believe that is going to do it though for our deep dive picks on your rostered list. If you want to see more of the managers, be sure to tune in to the channel, subscribe, and all that good stuff, because we will be back with more fantasy football content, helping you win your league and stay on top of it, everything that's happening fantasy football. So till the next time, take care, and we'll see you.
See you.
This has been the Managers.
See you next time. Thanks for tuning in.